Dun 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 dun. Hey guys, welcome back to A Vlogs, and as you can see with that little burst of excitement, for this video I will be reviewing Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Medyo late na actually ako to the fray because I actually wanted to take some time to actually review and immerse myself in the experience of Indiana Jones. I watched it actually for 2 times already by now. And the first time I watched it in an advanced screening, but I felt like I had preconceived ideas and I already had like a notion of where I was gonna go with my review. So I had to see it again, and I don't necessarily do this that often, but I had to with this film. I had to rewatch the other Indiana Jones movies in the franchise to actually get a feel of what the film franchise or set of films is like really. And now I can finally give my review of the Dial of Destiny. Okay, so the first thing I have to mention is this film actually feels pretty great in terms of giving an exhilarating ride. But I also have to say that it doesn't feel like the most Indiana Jonesy type of movie. It is, in a way, I felt, and this is still my thoughts from the first time I saw it, it felt Disney-fied. It felt very different tonality-wise, direction-wise. I mean, you still get Indiana Jones, you still get the iconic adventure moments, and you get sci-fi elements, but then I felt like it also was a bit childlike or kiddie in terms of its production, in terms of the way that the story developed. It wasn't all that, like resemblant of what we've seen before. But that being said, it's also very nostalgic, and I feel like it has a lot of great handling of continuity as well. When you look at some of the characters that were mentioned, some of the characters that actually appear here, you get a nice closure as well with characters that we've seen in the past, like that of Shia LaBeouf, and then we've never seen him again. But here, we do get a little bit of knowledge as to what the fate was. I don't necessarily agree with what they did with that character, but at least they managed to close whatever thoughts we had regarding that chapter. Now, one of the things I felt this film suffered from the most was the pacing. You know how you get a 2.5-hour long film, but sometimes you don't necessarily feel it? For example, Endgame. It's long, but you don't necessarily feel it. You're excited to see what happens next. This is a film that feels long because it is long. There were moments of highs and lows. I think that's the best way to describe Indiana Jones. There are moments of highs and lows when it comes to the story, when it comes to the pacing, when it comes to the visuals. When it comes to the pacing of it all, there are moments of exhilaration and segments that, okay, you're going for it, you want to see more, but then it dies down as well, maybe midway, and you go, okay, I've had enough, let's move on. Story-wise is the same thing. There are moments, and even in terms of the characterization, the character development, one of my biggest concerns was Helena Shaw. It was an underwhelming character. The characterization, the way she was supposed to connect with Indy, there was potential there, but it was a lost cause or a lost opportunity in providing something worthwhile. There were some standouts in terms of the characters. Of course, Indy himself, Harrison Ford. No one can play Indy except Harrison Ford. I think that is something that has to be understood. Mads Mikkelsen as the villain, he just shows up and he's just scary. He doesn't do much. It's effortless. And therefore, there are, again, what I was saying, highs and lows. Lastly, when it comes to the visuals, you also see that. I mean, the de-aging thing, let's just talk about it. It was distracting. I mean, it made sense, and that scene, to be honest, out of the entire movie was my favorite. My favorite was the first 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Everything else felt, again, like ups and downs, okay? It was a bit iffy at times. It was great at times. That opening sequence was great. It was just distracting to see Harrison Ford. It's not even because hindi tugma yung boses niya sa mukha niya. It just felt like Indy at those moments, at that sequence, felt like he was made out of wax. hindi pa nila na-figure out altogether how to really make it perfect, and it's fine. But here, I felt like it could have been fine kung hindi lang siya distracting. As you progress, the ending was also not that worthwhile or satisfying enough for me. Yes, it does tie everything together. Yes, it was in a way to close out this chapter of Indiana Jones. They should have done it 2 movies ago with the third one and with Sean Connery. That ending was just underwhelming. It wasn't. It was fine. It wasn't the best way to go out, but it was just okay. So because of that, I give this film a score of 5 out of 10. It's a bit forgettable. There are moments that were pretty good, but they weren't spectacular. And there were a lot of moments that were a bit underwhelming that actually overshadows the good moments. So that's it for this review. Continue to follow us here at A-Vlogs. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell. And as always, don't forget to make every day into an adventure.